prelims, semifinals, and finals in the 60-meter hurdles and 60-meter dash. Kind of a unique 3-round situation to mimic almost international championship racing. So these 4 heats will qualify 8 men, 4 men, 8 men to the semifinal a little bit later on this afternoon, and then we'll qualify 8 men from there to the final. So top 8 times will advance from, top 16 times will advance from this prelim. Then it will go to 8 for the final. We'll sort all through this. Stick with me, folks. I'm new to this 3-round thing with a mid-season race. But let's introduce you to this field here. In lane 1, we have Jahil Smickel of New Mexico Junior College. In lane 2, Tyler Kanega, Iowa. In lane 3, Otto Lang of UCLA. In lane 4, Jaheim Stern, LSU. Lane 5, Blake Nyanati of Iowa. In lane 6, Davis Lyric. And in lane 7, Matt Gladley. So these are your 7 athletes on the track. 4 heats coming your way of the men's 60-meter hurdles prelim. And unfortunately, a little trend from last night, if you tuned into coverage, was we've had some issues getting clean starts underway. And so there's just been some issues, some hiccups over the first 2 days. Starters seem to have cleaned it up. It can be difficult when you have a situation that needs to be as precise as everybody on the start line, and the gun needs to function properly. It gets a little iffy, if you will. Okay, so we will get reset now to run Heat 1 of the men's 60-meter hurdles prelim. Okay, so the top 2 from each heat, plus the next 8 fastest, will advance to the semifinals. So top 2 are automatically through, and the next 8 fastest from these 4 heats will qualify to the semis. Up and away we go. Clean start in the men's prelim 60-meter hurdles Heat 1. Battle in the middle of the track between Stern and Nyanati. And Nyanati gets that auto spot, as does Jaheim Stern, 769 to 771. Blake Nyanati seems very pleased with that effort, and we'll see him and Jaheim Stern duke it out again later on this afternoon in the semifinals. Otto Lang there in 3rd will await a time qualification. So the men's 60-meter hurdles semifinals will take place at 1:25 local time this afternoon. So these athletes have quite a big gap between the prelim and the semi, with a much tighter window between the semi and the finals. Let us meet Heat number 2 of the men's 60-meter hurdles prelim. We'll have Jacob Kavanaugh of New Mexico in 1, Sean Martin, Northern Arizona in 2, Isaiah Patrick of Alabama in 3, Ethan Exelholm, USC in 4, Parker Duskin of Arizona in 5, Arion Hill, UTEP in 6, and Gertz Sienkiewicz of New Mexico Junior College will run in lane 7. Blake Nyanati and Jaheim Stern have already booked their spots in the semifinal. 2 more athletes in Heat 2 will do so automatically. Like lane 6, Arion Hill has scratched. Heat 2 underway. Exelholm battling with Duskin. I do think Duskin edged him in over the last barrier and across the finish line. Duskin and Exelholm should be your top 2. They are 779, 782. That pair will automatically go to the final. 778, 788, excuse me, for Isaiah Patrick will put him currently as the fastest time qualifier through 2 heats. So real good shot for him to advance to the semis. Now we'll meet heat number 3. In lane 1, we'll have Dylan Poteet of Grand Canyon. Lane 2, Bogdan Vidokovic of Arizona. Lane 3, Vaughn Devon III from Iowa. Abel Jordan of Cal State Fullerton is in 4. Braxton Brand, Ohio State in 5. Amir Williams, UTEP in 6. And lane 7, Eric Reyes Aguilera, Northern Arizona. After the conclusion of this men's 60-meter prelim, we will have a space for the women to prepare on the track, so they'll get a little time to practice and cover the hurdles and get set to go before our women's 60-meter hurdle prelim gets underway at 10:30 local time. So 2 more heats here for the men, and then we'll step aside for a short break as the women practice and get you set for these prelims for the women. If you're just joining us, we'll have 60-meter hurdles, 3 rounds for each gender, prelim, semi, and final. And the same will be true in the flat 60. All that still to come, plus action in the 400 and the 4x4. A lot of straightaway action, though, today. Day 2 here in Albuquerque. Let's reintroduce the field. We have Poteet of Grand Canyon in 1, Vidokovic of Arizona in 2, Devon III of Iowa in 3, Abel Jordan in 4. Lane 5 is scratched. Williams is in 6, and Reyes Aguilera in 7. Devon has a slight edge, but he got a little push there. We'll see who we give it to there. It's Abel Jordan of Cal State Fullerton, 782. Devon III gets the last auto spot there, 786. And the rest of the field will have to wait to see if they secured their spot via time qualifier. So Abel Jordan takes heat number 3. With our 4th and final prelim heat in the 60-meter hurdles on the track next. So let's meet our field in heat 4. We have Caden Gibson of UTEP in 1, Denver Cash of Alabama in 2, Lane 3 is scratched. Lane 4, John Paredes, Arizona. Lane 5, Matthew Sophia, LSU. Lane 6, Emmanuel Joseph, Grand Canyon. Lane 7, Samaj Thompson of New Mexico. Get a look at Denver Cash, which I don't think Denver Cash is an official currency. I don't think Denver has their own cash, but I love the name. I don't like to highlight names too much just because, hey, you don't pick your own name, but Denver Cash is unquestionably a cool name, and it sounds straight up out of a Quentin Tarantino movie. So I applaud Denver Cash. I applaud the Cashes, his parents, for giving him the name Denver Cash. But that's just my 2 cents, no pun intended. Heat 4 is on the track. Gibson, Cash, Paredes, Sophia, Joseph, and Thompson. Those are your 6 here. Top 2 gets you a spot in the semifinals. Anything 7.90 and below will do the same. LSU's Matthew Sophia rolling away with this one with Paredes in his way. Those 2 will go to the final. That's Matthew Sophia of LSU. He will go 7.70 to post the fastest time of the prelim rounds. John Paredes, 7.83, the final auto spot to this afternoon's semifinal.
All women's 60-meter hurdle prelims. Please report to the track at.
So we'll get the track ready for the women's 60-meter hurdles prelim. They'll do a few practice strides to get set to go. We are going to step aside for a moment. We'll be right back with more from the 2026 New Mexico Collegiate Classic here on FloTrack and presented by Saucony. You're watching the 2026 New Mexico Collegiate Classic live on FloTrack and presented by Saucony. We are getting prepared for prelims in the women's 60-meter hurdles coming your way next. Stick with us. We'll be right back from Albuquerque. Welcome back to Albuquerque, side of the 2026 New Mexico Collegiate Classic. You're watching coverage live on FloTrack and presented by Saucony. Heat 1 is set to go for the women's 60-meter hurdles prelim. Let's meet our field for Heat 1, which will qualify 2 athletes automatically to the semifinals later on this afternoon. In lane 1, we have Grace Culver of UTEP. Lane 2, Anara Ukawuba of Cal. Lane 3, Mary Testa of Cal. Lane 4, Yanla Dejip Nyamek, UCLA. Lane 5, Talon Wise of Arizona. Lane 6, Sydney Watkins, Northern Arizona. And lane 7, Mia Walker, Cal State Fullerton. So as I said previously, two athletes, the top two athletes, will automatically qualify to the semifinal. The semifinal slated to run at 1:45 local time. So 3+ hours from this moment. Two athletes from each of the 5 heats will qualify to that semifinal, plus the next 6 fastest times will advance. So finish top 2 or have one of the 6 fastest non-top 2 times to earn a spot to the semifinal. Athletes preparing behind the blocks. The field again: Culver, Yukawuba, Testa, Djip Nyamek, Wise, Watkins, and Walker. Your 7 in Heat 1. Up and away we go. Heat 1 of the women's 60-meter hurdles prelim. Djip Nyamek has the edge, and she'll take the win. I think that was Talon Wise coming up for second. Yanla Djip Nyamek, 8.10 to win Heat 1. Looks like we're parsing the results to figure out second place. And it's actually going to go to Mary Testa, who we have to separate our second and third place by the thousandth of a second. And Testa with the slight edge for the final auto qualifier out of that heat, with Talon Wise third in that 8:23. So bang bang finish there for Heat 1 between second and third, but it goes the way of Yanla Djip Nyamek. Heat 2 will quickly assemble on the track. We'll have Starla Skiles of Cal State Fullerton, Makariah Harris of LSU, Faith Asamuyi of Alabama, Naomi Krebs of Texas Tech, Salaisi Miles of LSU, Natalie Harris of Iowa, and Fallon Goins of Cal. Fastest non-automatic qualifier thus far, 8:23, Talon Wise from Heat 1. As always with the hurdles, in between races, you got to clean up any knockdown hurdles, make sure they're perfectly aligned, and then athletes will take out their warm-up strides, and then hurdles will get knocked down once again and get misaligned. So it's always going to be an event that takes the longest to get set up, especially with these prelims where we're going back to back to back. The field again in Heat 2 in the 60 prelims. Starla Skiles in 1, Mekariah Harris in 2. Faith Asamuyi in 3. Naomi Krebs in 4. Salaisi Miles in 5. Natalie Harris in 6. And Fallon Goins in 7. Up and away we go for Heat 2. Krebs of Texas Tech having the edge through to the line. Asamuyi and Miles were right there behind her to compete for that second spot, but Naomi Krebs 8:21, and it was Salaisi Miles second for the final auto spot. Krebs and Miles 1 and 2 in Heat 2.
Here comes Heat 3. In lane 1, Jordan Rochester of Ole Miss. In lane 2, Madison Fleming of UCLA.
So there's your full results from the second heat of the women's 60-meter prelims. At 8:23 by Talon Wise, still the fastest non-automatically qualifying time. Heat 3 on the track next. We will have Jordan Rochester of Ole Miss in 1, Madison Fleming of UCLA in 2, Charlotte Pichard Grand Canyon in 3, Nona Waldron of USC, slated to run in lane 4, Asia Atkinson, USC in 5, Isabel Evans, Iowa in 6, Miley Asola, Cal State Fullerton in 7, and McKenna Barnett, USC in 8.
On your marks.
Rochester, Fleming, Pichard, Waldron, Atkinson, Evans, Asola, and Barnett. Your full field of 8. Waldron is a scratch out of lane 4. Away we go. Atkinson running away with Heat 3 out of UCLA. Asia Atkinson wins easily in Heat 3 to book her spot in the semifinal. 8:23 with her teammate McKenna Barnett joining her. 8:44 for her spot. 8:54 for Isabel Evans, who will await a time qualifier. Two more preliminary heats in the women's 60-meter hurdles. Heat 4. Jaden Montgomery, Northern Arizona in 1. Ashlyn Parrish, Ole Miss in 2. Adea Brewster, LSU in 3. Celeste Polzanetti, UCLA in 4. Jayla Ash, Iowa in 5. Diamond Nave, Iowa in 6. Miracle Ailes, Alabama in 7. And Carissa December, New Mexico Junior College in 8. So as we look at the time qualifiers, 8:56 currently the cutoff, as both Grace Culver and Madison Fleming have run that time out of separate heats. So you have to run 8:56 or faster to have a shot to make the final on time. Or, excuse me, make the semifinal on time. Up and away we go with just 6 in this heat. Brewster with a slight lead. Polzanetti, though, rallying. It's going to be Polzanetti of UCLA winning heat number 4. Brewster will slot in at second. 8.14 for Celeste Polzanetti. Adea Brewster close behind, 8.18. And Jayla Ash and Diamond Nave will have a real good shot to qualify through on time with their 8:39 and 8:47 respectively. As the final heat aligns and gets set to run. One heat to go, 8:54, the final time qualifier, which stands currently at Isabel Evans of Iowa from heat 3. So have to run faster than 8:54 to book a spot in the semifinal. Keep wanting to say final, but just in the prelims, and we'll go to the semis later on this afternoon. Heat 5 will feature Sarah Rivas of Stanford in lane 1. Adriana Shelby, New Mexico in 2. Sakara Ruffin, Cal in 3. Amari Kiluvia, TCU in 4. Lillian Harden, USC in 5. Sydney Martin, UTEP in 6. Bella Turner, Cal State Fullerton in 7. And Kaylin Giarusso of Northern Arizona in lane 8. Heat 5 athletes wanting to finish top 2 to automatically advance or run faster than 8:54 if they do not secure top 2. Away we go. Heat as the balloon that was my voice deflates, seeing that we've had a starters issue once again, and we'll have a meeting of the minds to discuss what the infraction was. So a warning has been levied to lane, lane number 3, Sakara Ruffin. So just a warning, that's the good news. Bad news is our trend of either starter malfunction or issues in the blocks has continued from day 1. We'll hope that we break that trend as the day drags on here. And we'll get reset to go in Heat 5. Sarah Rivas in 1. Adriana Shelby, New Mexico in 2. Sakara Ruffin in 3. Amari Kiluvia of TCU in 4. Lillian Harden, USC in 5. Sydney Martin, UTEP in 6. Bella Turner, Cal State Fullerton in 7. And Kaylin Giarusso in 8. And we're cleanly underway in Heat 5. Dominated there by Collegiate of TCU. Mari Collegiate, 8.20. 8:36 for Lillian Harden, as Sakara Ruffin will book her spot in the semifinal, with Sydney Martin likely doing so as well. So that was the women's 60-meter hurdles prelims. We'll be back with more action in the 60-meter dash when we return. Stick with us here on FloTrack. Your college sports have a home on Flow College. Watch more than 20,000 college sporting events from 200 schools and 18 different conferences only on Flow College. Head to Flow College today to see everything now. We are preparing for our next event on the track, which will be prelims in the men's 60-meter dash. 8 heats coming your way next. These prelims will run a similar formula to our prelims in the men's in women's 60-meter hurdles. Top 2 from each heat will automatically advance to the semifinal, plus the next 8 fastest. So 24 will advance out of this group of 64 preliminary sprinters, with the 60-meter semi coming your way at 2 p.m. local time. So about 3 hours and 10 minutes or so. Dash prelim. AJ Robinson will run in lane 1 for Grand Canyon. Jalen Holmes of Iowa will run in lane 2. DeKel Minor of Ole Miss will run in 3. Christian John Stevenson of USC will run in 4. Kamarly Stewart of Texas Tech will run in 5. Cameron Neal of Texas Tech will run in 6. Joshua Ford of UTEP will run in 7. And Hayden Wiley of Alabama will go in lane number 8. Current NCAA lead in the men's 60, 6:49 from early January at the Clemson Invite. That was Trenard Folson of Tennessee. In fact, 2 sprinters from Tennessee, Folson and Devontae Howell, ran matching 6:49s at the Clemson Invite. Those are your NCAA leading marks. So just about set to go here for Heat 1. We'll have Robinson, Holmes, Minor, Stevenson, Stewart, Neal, Ford, and Wiley. So we're getting organized here and set to go, slightly behind our intended schedule, but that is okay. Yesterday, last evening, if you watched with us, we were ahead of schedule. So we've balanced everything out here with day 2. Hopefully we can stick closer to our intended schedule here as we've cleared the track of the hurdles. They will have to reassemble later on, but we won't worry about that right now. Now we're being called to the start line here for heat number 1. Appears that Christian John Stevenson of USC has scratched, so lane 4 will be empty. And away we go, heat 1 of the men's 60. Prelim round. It's going to be won by Kamarly Stewart, Texas Tech. Stewart takes heat 1. We'll wait on the official time. 6:72 for Stewart to advance, with DeKel Minor of Ole Miss close behind. Just 1/100th back, 6:73. Jalen Holmes, the first non-automatic qualifier. He'll wait on time with his 6:82. Stewart and Minor, your top 2 in heat 1. Here's your field for Heat 2. We have Wazell Wright of Cal in lane 1. Braylon Bird, Texas Tech in 2. Ian Dossman, Cal State Fullerton in 3. Kalen Walker of Iowa in 4. Jordan Gross, Iowa in 5. James Ananabusi, Arizona in 6. DeAndre McIntosh, UTEP in 7. And his teammate, Zacharias Velasquez, UTEP in lane 8.
On your marks.
Braylon Bird, a scratch. He was slated to run in lane 2 from Texas Tech. So no Bird in 2. Heat 2 behind the blocks and set to go for the men's 60-meter prelims. Top 2 advance to the semifinal. Up and away we go. Good start for Walker. Walker's going to dominate this one. Kalen Walker of Iowa. 6:61. Strong time there for the Hawkeye sprinter with his teammate Jordan Gross coming in for second, narrowly beating out Ian Dossman for that final auto spot. So Kalen Walker will take the fastest time out of these first 2 heats, and real good shot to take the fastest time into the semifinal. 6:61 is a strong prelim mark, and more to come, I'm sure, from Kalen Walker from Iowa. Here's Heat 3 on the track of the men's 60 prelims. Logan Eubanks in 1 of TCU. Johnny Bai, New Mexico Junior College in 2. Jacob Holguin, Grand Canyon in 3. Malachi Snow, Texas Tech in 4. Miguel Rosario, Grand Canyon in 5. Nick Biega, Ohio State in 6. Ari Dubin, Arizona in 7. And Jacob Kavanaugh, New Mexico in lane 8. So lane 5, a scratch. Miguel Rosario will not make this race. The field again, Eubanks in 1, Bai in 2, Holguin in 3, Snow in 4, Biega in 6, Dubin in 7, and Kavanaugh is in lane 8. Just through 2 rounds, but 7.12 currently the final qualifying time to the semis. Away we go here in heat number 3. Malachi Snow earning the victory there from Texas Tech. 6:65, a strong run from Snow. Holguin second, 6:79. So we'll see Malachi Snow with his 6:6 time in the semifinals later on this afternoon. Now let's get you set for Heat 4, which will feature Noah Lawson of Grand Canyon in 1, Tariq Wright, Ole Miss in 2, Dominic Calhoun, Ohio State in 3, Mason Lawyer, Arizona in 4, Nazio John, Ohio State in 5. Dominic Gates, Cal State Fullerton in 6. Grant Haskins, Grand Canyon in 7. And Joseph Gomez Witten, UTEP in lane 8. So lane 1 will go empty as Noah Lawson has scratched. So just lanes 2 through 8 in heat 4. Fastest time so far this morning in this event. The 6:61 run in heat 2 by Kalen Walker of Iowa. We had a 6:65 in a previous heat by Malachi Snow of Texas Tech. Athletes really just getting their feet wet and trying to advance to the semis with as little exertion as possible. So heat 4 down in the blocks and set to go. Wright, Calhoun, Boyer, John, Gates, Haskins, and Gomez Witten. Looks like Boyer from Arizona taking heat number 4. Right, 6:64 for Mason Lawyer. Solid run from the Arizona sprinter. Dominic Calhoun takes the next automatic spot in 6:69. Nazio John, third, top non-auto qualifier, 6:77. So we're midway through our men's 60-meter prelim heats. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more from Albuquerque here on FloTrack. Welcome back to Albuquerque for FloTrack's coverage of the 2026 New Mexico Collegiate Classic, presented by Saucony. Here is Heat 5 of the men's 60-meter prelims. We'll have Javon Hampton of Cal running lane 1, Aiden Orias of Cal in 2, Malik Pabon, Cal State Fullerton in 3, Jaden Reed, LSU in 4. Lane 5 has scratched. Elias Munoz of UTEP will run in lane 6. Sean McCollum, UCLA in 7. And Gabriel Ajegbu, Stanford in lane 8. And we'll stand up here, make sure that everything gets settled. Might as well preempt any issues we could have by just having the athletes stand up and clean things up for another go in just a moment. This race will feature Jaden Reed in the purple of LSU, a 200-meter All-American. He ran 20.57 last night in his heat of the men's 200. a solid time, but very clearly overshadowed by Garrett Kaland of USC, who ran 20.12, fifth fastest in NCAA history. So Reed's already taken part in a historical race, looking for more this afternoon, as Reed is just going to dominate this one. That was an easy effort. Little trick on the eyes as we had an athlete pull up there. But 6:66, and Jaden Reed looked quite comfortable doing that in that prelim round as he dominates over second place there. Aiden Orias, 6:85. So 6:66 and an easy one at that for Jaden Reed to book his spot in the semifinal. Here is Heat 5 Heat 6 of the men's 60-meter prelim. We have Bryce Melton of Arizona in lane 1, Timothy Grice, UTEP in 2, Cole Kopage, Northern Arizona in 3, Darwin Jimenez, Iowa in 4, Eddie Nikitia, USC in 5, Justin Frater, TCU in 6, Somali Farrington, New Mexico Junior College in 7, and in lane 8, Bogdan Vidokovic, Arizona. So a truncated field here, as lane 1 will be empty, as will lanes 6 and 7. Grice, Kopage, Jimenez, Nikitia, and Vidokovic. Those are your 5 here in heat number 6. Another issue here. Just been unlucky thus far with our starts. Fortunately, there wasn't an infraction there, just some sort of awkward preempting before the gun was to go that the starter didn't like, and athlete didn't feel comfortable either. So we'll get reset to go here in heat 6. Now we're away for heat 6. Close battle between Jimenez and Nikitia. It looks like it was Nikitia of USC. The large frame of the USC sprinters. He sprints out of frame. And we'll look at the results. Determine our top 2. The order there's Nikitia, new fastest time, and those 2 times will match. Identical 6:59s for Nikitia and Jimenez. 6:59s, fabulous prelim times, and hopefully it's a preview of more excitement to come, as we're now down in the 6.5s in the prelim rounds, but for 2 of our sprinters. And I know some athletes that look to be taking it easy in the prelims who will be ready to run that faster in our next couple rounds. So hopefully a preview of excitement to come out of heat 6, won by Eddie Nikitia of USC, Jimenez with a matching 6:59. Here is heat number 7. And we'll get a look at who assembles in the blocks before we give you the full field. Those are the names scheduled to run. We've had quite a few scratches. So we will have a field of Josh Myers, who you see on your screen there, in lane 1 from Cal. Amin Toki, UCLA, in lane 2. Lane 3 has scratched. Lane 4, Justin Raines of Grand Canyon. Lane 5, Kyler Brown, Ohio State. Lane 6, All-American Tarsis Oragot of Alabama. Lane 7 has scratched. And lane 8, Dominic Batiste. So the 200-meter All-American Tarsis Oragot will go here in lane 6. Oragot, a sprinter who's run 1975 over 200 meters outdoors, so he's a superstar, an Olympic caliber athlete. But that's in the 200 meters. Things not going quite as well in this 60 as it's going to be won by Kyler Brown of Ohio State. Wow. 661 for Kyler Brown. Justin Raines second, distant second, 681. Oragot will wait on a time qualifier there after finishing third, also in 681. Kyler Brown and Justin Raines automatically through to the final with one heat to go. This is going to be our 8th and final heat. Looks like you have to be in the 6/8 to have a shot to qualify on time to the final after Oragot ran that 681. Here's the start list, though, for Heat 8. Lane 1, Malaki Gutierrez of New Mexico. Lane 2 is scratched. Lane 3, Sanjay Salman of TCU. Lane 4, David Nyamfaria of New Mexico Junior College. Lane 5, Joshua Caleb. Lane 6, Alpha Balde, Alabama. Lane 7, Parker Duskin, Arizona. And lane 8, Jordan Urrutia. So we'll get our 8th heat to the start line. And as we've done all throughout, we'll keep an eye on the middle lanes here with Niam Faria and Joshua Caleb. Those two the names to watch here in Heat 8. But athletes really just looking to advance to the semis and get a race under their legs and be healthy for the semifinals and finals here. But already, nonetheless, we've had some quick times. Away we go in our final heat, and it's Caleb. Joshua Caleb going to take that one. Ooh, a stumble across the bank as we go there, but Joshua Caleb, 662, another good time with Nayem Faria second there, 665. So good prelims there, exciting semis and finals still to come in the men's 60-meter dash. So we'll step aside for a short break. Be back here for more from Albuquerque, live on FloTrack and presented by Saucony. Welcome back inside the Albuquerque Convention Center, site of the 2026 New Mexico Collegiate Classic. Live on FloTrack, presented by Saucony. We are preparing for Heat 1 of 9 of the women's 60-meter dash prelims. 24 athletes will advance out of these prelims to the semifinals. It'll be the top 2 from each heat, plus the next 6 fastest qualifying on time. In Heat 1, we'll have Amaria Hardiman of Alabama in lane 1, Brianna Harlan, TCU, in lane 2, Shane Harris, Northern Arizona, in lane 3, India Mayberry, TCU, in lane 4, Tania Looney, New Mexico, in 5, Taylor Gulat of Alabama in 6, and Zakia Hill, Arizona, in lane 7. We saw Mayberry from TCU last night. Wasn't her best race in the 200. She's the defending 200-meter NCAA indoor champion, and maybe looking to atone for that rough performance with a good 60-meter showing this morning and this afternoon. Mayberry's run 7:31 in this event. She won the Robert Platt Invitational last weekend in that 7:31. It will likely take a quicker time than that to win the final today. But this is just the first round, just the prelim, so she's looking to finish top 2 here. We'll keep an eye on Mayberry in the middle of this field in lane 4. And away we go for heat number 1. And Mayberry starting to emerge, and she will win Heat 1. Took her a while to get up to top speed, but once she did, she slid easily away from this field. 7:34, India Mayberry to win Heat 1 with Tania Looney second, 7.40. Those two advancing to the semifinal. Women's 60-meter semifinal will run at 2:10 local time, just inside 3 hours from right now. So athletes will have plenty of time to cool down, stretch, relax, and then re-warm up to go for the semifinal, and then do the same thing in a shorter time period between the semis and the finals. So this weekend tests fitness and tests your ability to prep for rounds, certainly. And it's really nice luxury for these athletes to be able to have a mid-season chance to run rounds. You don't often see that, especially not 3 rounds. So this is a good mid-season test for these sprinters. Heat 2 on the track next in the women's 60-meter prelim. The field. Lane 1, we have Jasmine Williams of Cal State Fullerton. Lane 2, Lauren Gilhooly of Cal. Lane 3, Brooklyn Davis of Cal State Fullerton. Lane 4, Success Umakoro of Texas Tech. Lane 5, Cassie Small, Grand Canyon. Lane 6, Esther Akinlosotu of Arizona. And lane 7, London Cologne. That's your field for Heat 2. So in the men's 60-meter dash, we'll have 3 semis coming up at 2 p.m. local time. Final time qualifiers were Wright of Ole Miss, Anan Busi of Arizona, and Dubin of Arizona, all at, or excuse me, my mistake there, folks. It was Aiden Orias of Cal at 6:85, so he's the final time qualifier from the men's 60-meter prelims. But here's Heat 2 of the women, with Umakoro dominating Heat 2 and going to run away with an easy victory. We'll keep an eye on the clock. This should be a good one here from Umakoro. 7:28, strong prelim performance by the Red Raider of Texas Tech, Success Umakoro. I would say that heat was a success for Umakoro. Second auto qualifying spot goes to Cassie Small. of Grand Canyon, 7:41. Cologne will await a time qualifier in third, 7:56, with the rest of the field doing the same. Heat 3 quickly will assemble. Behind the blocks, we have Hannah Smith of Grand Canyon lane 1. Nairobi Smith of Cal in lane 2. Sydney Bryant, Ohio State in 3. Alicia Burnett of Ole Miss in 4. Holly Duex, Iowa, lane 5. Yanla Djip Nyamek in lane 6. Elena Reed, Northern Arizona in 7. It does look like Djip Nyamek has scratched. She won a heat of the 60-meter hurdles earlier this morning, so I would imagine opting to focus on that event and that semifinal. As 3 rounds of the 60 hurdles and 60 dash, probably a bit much here for early February. We'll sort through this little issue and get reestablished for Heat 3. Smith, Bryant, Burnett, Duex, and Reed. Those are your 6 in this heat. Away we go for Heat 3. Burnett running away with this one. Duex trying to rally, and she was closing fast. Burnett had opened up quite the gap. I do think she held on for the win in Heat 3. Burnett 7:35 to the 7:38 of Duex. Those are your 2 auto qualifiers. Nairobi Smith will await a time qualifier to the semis at 7:53. Heat 4 on the track. Next, we'll have Kira Murray of Texas Tech in 1. Ariel Haygood of Northern Arizona will run in lane 2. Nina Thevenin, Grand Canyon in 3. Brianna Selby, USC in 4. Tiana Harlan, TCU in 5. Addison Strickland, UTEP in 6. And Alicia Glenn, New Mexico Junior College in lane 7. Through 3 heats, we've seen a 7:28 as our fastest time. And when we have the qualifiers on time, we'll give you those and start to get a look at what athletes need to run under to book a spot in the semis, at least those who do not have a top 2 spot in this prelim. Murray, Haygood, Thevenin, Selby, Harlan, Strickland, and Glenn. And we've had another misstep here. We'll diagnose the problem and report it out to you when we know. So another conference between our starters and their red polos. Looks like we are retrieving cards to sort out the infraction. We're talking to Ariel Haygood, who will not get a red card. So for our purposes, just know that Ariel Haygood is still going to be in this competition. Now we're going to get reset into our blocks. Again, we will have Murray, Haygood, Thevenin, Selby, Harlan, Strickland, and Glenn. Off and away we go. Selby dominating. Brianna Selby of USC stops the clock unofficially at 7.3. 7:24, new fastest time of the morning here in Albuquerque for Brianna Selby. Nina Thevenin will take the final auto spot in heat number 4, 7:41. Tiana Harlan third and 7:47. That was heat 4. Heat 5 is prepping on the track already. Lane 1 will have Adriana Shelby of New Mexico. Lane 2, Caitlin Johnson of Cal. Lane 3, Pachnali Compare of Ole Miss. Lane 4, Athelena Hinkson, LSU. Alyssa Jones of Stanford in lane 5. Gabriela Anahi Suarez, lane 6 of New Mexico Junior College. Lauren Fowler in 7 from New Mexico. And Ariana Guerrero, Stanford in lane 8. .756, the current cutoff for time qualifiers through our first 4 heats. Still 5 more to go to fill out our semifinal fields. So our first full 8-athlete field in a 60-meter prelim. Shelby, Johnson, Compare, Hinkson, Jones, Suarez, Fowler, and Guerrero. And away we go. Hinkson battling. Get a look at who we had there in the white there. That was Anahi Suarez. Gabriela Anahi Suarez, a 7:28 strong time. She came on late to challenge Hinkson. Hinkson has to settle for second, 7:32, with Compare in 7:46, getting that third position and awaiting a time qualifier. 4 more heats still to come in the women's 60-meter dash. We'll step aside very briefly and be back with more on FloTrack and presented by Soccer. Welcome back to Albuquerque, the site of our coverage of the New Mexico Collegiate Classic, live on FloTrack and presented by Saucony. We are set for Heat 6 of the women's 60-meter dash prelims. Lane 1 will have Layla Wilcox of Alabama. Lane 2, Soraya Dereska, Stanford. Lane 3, Faith Asamuyi, Alabama. Lane 4, London Tucker, TCU. Lane 5, Taylor Snare, UCLA. Lane 6, Layla Hackett, Ohio State. Lane 7, Sydney Watkins, Northern Arizona. And Lane 8, Bailey Johnson of TCU. Fastest time of the day so far in this event, 7:24. And away we go. Another issue. I would reckon this is something that will need to be sorted out before our next meet here in Albuquerque. We have just continued to have issues with our starter's gun and the athletes, and not sure what the situation is. Of course, I don't want to always deflect blame from the athletes, but it has been a trend here. As we'll get a warning here for Faith Asamuyi. So just a warning, and we'll get prepared to go. And yeah, the question can become, are the runners ill-prepared? Is this a starter issue? It's hard to answer from my vantage point, but when it becomes this much of a trend, you start to wonder if it's a staff problem over an athlete problem. But it's both. It's both to a little bit. I don't want to give blame one way or another. It's a shared problem by our starters and our athletes. But hopefully we get things cleaned up for the rest of our competition as we are set to run for Heat 6, the women's 60-meter dash. Away we go cleanly this time. London Tucker with the lead with a push from her teammate Johnson. It's going to be TCU 1 and 2. The question is, what's the order? London Tucker, 7:34. Bailey Johnson, 7:40 for a Horned Frog sweep of heat number 6. $7:44 for Snare there to take third. 3 more heats, the women's 60-meter dash on deck. Lane 1, Lizzie Hatton of Ole Miss. Lane 2, Layla Lawson of New Mexico. Lane 3, Aaliyah Riffert-Dellum, Grand Canyon. Lane 4, Olivia Pace, USC. Bobby Olive of Ohio State will go in 5. Ryan Balos, Alabama in 6. Myla Reed, Ole Miss in 7. And Adea Brewster, LSU in lane 8. $7:53, the current cutoff for time qualifying to the semis. Alyssa Jones of Stanford currently holding that with her 7:53 from heat number 5. So here's heat 7. Hatton, Lawson, Riffert-Dellum, Pace, Olive, Balus, Reed, and Brewster. you're not top 2, you got to be ahead of 7:53. Qualify for the semis. Away we go. Bobby Olive with a slight lead, but a push from Olivia Pace will give the victory to the USC sprinter. Olivia Pace in heat 7, 7:33. Bobby Olive second, 7:37. Ryford Delem, 7:43, should feel good about her chances on time there in third from Grand Canyon. There's Olivia Pace winning heat 7, 7:33. Two more women's 60-meter dash prelim heats. 2:10 is the semifinal start time for the women, with finals shortly thereafter at 3 p.m. local time. So big challenge for athletes will be this long break between the prelim and the semis, which kind of easy to let the muscles relax, and then you have to restart, and that will be the challenge. All right, here is heat 8. We'll have lane 1, Brenna Rodriguez from Northern Arizona. Lane 2, Paige Porter of Cal. Lane 3, Brooke Lyons of Arizona. Lane 4, Royana Farmer, Ole Miss. Lane 5, Eliza Smith of LSU. Lane 6 is vacant. Lane 7, Felicia Awudi, New Mexico Junior College. And lane 8, Salisi Miles of LSU. Heat 8's in the blocks and set to go. And away cleanly with Smith of LSU running away with heat 8. Looks like Farmer was behind for second, but it was all Eliza Smith to win heat number 8, 7:36, 7:46 for Farmer, with Miles 7:53. That will not be good enough to advance on time. But we will see her teammate, Eliza Smith, after winning heat 8 in the semifinal. And quickly, we go to our 9th and final heat of the women's 60-meter dash prelims. Lane 1 will feature Soraya Amer of Grand Canyon. Lane 2, Judith Makabe, Alabama. Lane 3, Layla Campbell, Ohio State. Lane 4, Avery Lewis of USC. Trying to see if we will have a lane 5 from LSU, Anaya Bigham. Lane 6. So this will be a shortened field here. No lane 5 and no lane 7 or 8. So lane 6, Iba Niamake Kwao of Grand Canyon to round out your truncated field for heat number 9. .751, your final time qualifier, heading into our 9th and final heat. So top 2 or 7:51 or faster to book a spot in the semifinal at 2:10 local time in the women's 60-meter dash. Amer, Makobe, Campbell, Lewis, and wow. Campbell of Ohio State with the edge. Getting run down by Avery Lewis. It's a bang finish there. Campbell does hold the edge, 7:46. Lewis second, 7:49. 7.50 will be enough for Judith Makobe in third there to advance on time. So we will see her in the next round, a trio of women from Heat 9 on to the semis. So that concludes our women's 60-meter dash prelims. We'll have action in the men's 400 coming right after this. Stick with us here on FloTrack. Welcome back inside the Albuquerque Convention Center. We are set to go for our next event on the track. It'll be the men's 400-meter dash. Plenty of action to come here as we're slated to have 17 heats. Heat 1 will be our fast heat on paper, as we'll go with Parker Harrison, Cal State Fullerton in 3, Dominic Biles, TCU in 4, Samuel Ogazi, Alabama in 5, and Shamar Uter of Texas Tech in lane number 6. Of course, Ogazi, the reigning NCAA 400-meter national champion outdoors. He was second in this event indoors last March. Ogazi opening up his individual season. He's run on the 4x4 for the Crimson Tide, but he is making his open debut today in the men's 400. Time to keep an eye on the 44.62 current collegiate lead in this event. Could be under threat with Samuel Ogazi running in lane 5 for Alabama. So again, the field here. Harrison, Biles, Ogazi, and Uter. There's a look at Samuel Ogazi of Alabama, defending NCAA 400-meter champion outdoors. He was the runner-up indoors a year ago and making his 2026 open debut in this event coming your way next. So we're a little behind schedule. I should make a quick correction there. I gave Samuel Ogazi the runner-up finish in the indoor championships from last March. He was actually the runner-up in the outdoor championships in 2024. So quick fix there on that slight error. But here we are ready to go. We'll have Harrison in lane 3, Biles in 4, Ogazi in 5, and Shamar Uter in lane 6. Your field of 4 for Heat 1 of the men's 400. keep an eye on that 44-62 NCAA and world lead